when it comes to hanging rails, you need 950mm of drop from a rail down to get something like a suit jacket. So what I'm doing, these are only 1900 high, so I'm doing one with a longer rail and then one with a slightly shorter one. So I'll have, and there's a shelf down here as well, so you're not going to be hanging anything particularly long here. It'll be for trousers and shirts and that kind of thing. But 950 is the critical measurement for hanging space, or a little bit more. Give it a metre if you can. So with these type of hinges, these are sort of concealed kitchen cabinet style hinges. They clip on, obviously they screw into the door, and then they clip onto the hinge plate. Now the hinges themselves have in and out adjustment on them. They have lateral adjustment on them. Not a huge amount, a few millimetres at most. Because of the slotted hinge plates, they've got up and down adjustment there as well. So they're pretty flexible, especially when you're going into, especially useful when you're fitting things into sort of older properties where absolutely nothing is straight ever. And these just sort of screw in to the, I could find a screwdriver. Yeah. A couple of screws. You can get some that just stay in as a friction fit, but they're not the ones I'm using at the moment. 1 or 2. Exactly where that went. That's the other benefit of using hardboard or Corex on the floor. So if you drop something, you can hear it. So what I tend to do when I'm hanging doors with these kind of hinges is you get them in, so you've got the top one fixed tight, the other 2 hinge plates are nice and loose. Can you see that top one? Yes you can just. And I just lift the door up on my foot. You hook this little bar here just behind where the sort of little pointy arrow bit is. You hook him in and clip him on. And you always do the top hinge first, because then if the door gets a bit unwieldy or you're not sure what you're doing with it, you can always just let it hang off one hinge. Not forever, it's not stable, but you can do that if you need to. And then on the other hinges, let's see if I can get in a little bit closer for you. So just in there. This little bar just here. Ease the door out, lift the plate up, and it just slots in. We're not going to lock it just yet, because what we're going to do is the same on the bottom. Same principle. Ease the door out a touch, lift the plate up if you need to, and then you can... Actually, sometimes you can't lock them home until you tighten them up. So let's just do that. And we can see how that door closes and how it hangs. It's actually pretty good. I shouldn't sound surprised, but it is actually not bad at all. Sometimes 3 soft close hinges can be a bit much on a smaller wardrobe like this, single. The volume of air that it has to push aside to make the door close, it's sometimes better to have just 2 of the soft closers switched on. You can do that really easily. So if you ever want to switch off the soft close, this little switch here, push that forwards. I'm going to have to move in, I'm sorry. Then you close the door, open it again, and now it's only soft closing on 2 hinges. So you see it closes a bit faster. We'll leave it switched on for the customer can change that if they want. So flick the switch, close it, and now we're back to a gentler, slower, soft close. Balance that on my foot. Get the first one notched in. Second one's gone straight in actually. And the third one's banging on as well. So.
Using these hinges, it's quick and easy to hang the doors and adjust them so the shut lines are nice and tight. And I'm afraid I now need to start apologising again, as we've reached the part of the install where I've missed a couple of sections. I've already scribed and fitted the end panel, removing the end doors in the process to be able to clamp the panel up while the adhesive dries. If it's any help, it went in just like the demonstration I did back in the workshop, and I'm now working on the trickier infill on the right hand side. Using a straight edge, I've extended the line from the face of the carcasses onto the angled wall, and I'm using a string line to join these marks together and putting pieces of tape on the wall to mark this line.
So I've got a string line stretched between the top and bottom points to hold it reasonably well. I'm just marking at regular intervals with a little bit of tape because I don't want to put too many pencil marks on the walls because I don't know how recently they've been decorated. These are my measure points as I come down. There's no shortcut to this particular one, unfortunately. You just have to measure at sort of regular intervals to see how much back and forth there is.
And it's around now that I remember I need to fix a softwood batten to the side of the single carcass to have something to fix the infill onto.
Okay, so what I've done here, I've made some little pencil marks. I've screwed the little ear onto the side of the cabinet, and I've made some pencil marks opposite bits of tape that I'm going to measure against. I've got a infill which I've cut to height, and I've put a little scrap of plinth material down the bottom there so that we can see, so I can rest it on. And all I'm going to do now is just transfer pencil. Transfer those little pencil marks to the infill. I can measure it, pencil away, I can measure from the front face to the front of the tape mark and transfer it across to the infill.
We repeat the process all along the length of the infill at each measuring point and tape mark, then join these marks together with a straight edge to give us our scribe line.
But whatever I'll have to do, I'll have to bevel the back of this, take the back of it off completely. So yeah, fun and games. But I will start by taking off most of that with the track saw downstairs. Once again, I don't think you really need to see me do that. It's just, it's not dead straight, so there'll be a few cuts and cleaned up with the planer, and then I might put a back bevel on it just to see what's going on. Yeah, anyway, lots to think about. So the sound's not going to be very good on this, but what I've done here is I've cut to the scribe line with a track saw, and it's a pretty straight set of cuts, but obviously this is the edge that bears directly against the wall, so all of this is going to have to come away. I'm not going to do that exactly, but I'm going to come close as I can with a hand planer or a power planer. So I've got to say, for the first fit, it's actually too bad. In there quite nicely. A bit gappy here, that's alright. Problem I've got, I don't know if you can see from there, it's actually down here. I think I'll have to. Okay. I'll have to break the chisels out, nibble a bit more of that away, break the chisels out to get the to get that to move back a little bit further.
So with a few hand tools we can nibble away at the back edge of the infill where it abuts the skirting or baseboard to allow the panel to move back flush against the wall. The infill is fixed in place with a grab adhesive against the wall and glue and pins against the wardrobe, and with all the hard work done it slots in very neatly. With the doors rehung, we can mark them up and drill them for the doorknobs, using an offcut behind the door to prevent any breakout inside. And with the holes drilled, all the front faces get another quick coat of paint. Then you can easily attach the doorknobs, even with the paint still wet, letting us admire our handiwork without messing up the finish.
Well, there we are. I'm pretty much finished apart from running my hoover around. Everything's cleaned up and it's all looking nice and white and tidy. It's a decent size piece of furniture actually. Plenty of hanging space, which is what the client wanted. Plenty of shelving space, also what the client wanted, and top boxes to store all that other stuff. It's been a bit of a project one way or another, but there we are. We got there in the end, and I wouldn't say I've enjoyed it exactly, but I hope you have. I hope you found it interesting. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it amongst your friends, and think about subscribing. Then you'll be notified whenever I post something new. I'll see you next time. Take care.